Hey everybody! Today we're going to be talking about a lack of authenticity. Isn't that going to be fun? No, but seriously, I never was that extreme, but I did used to put on quite a face because I was insecure and I was afraid that people would not love me for me. They wouldn't like me as I am, as my authentic, real self. And that performance was exhausting. And I have people that are coming to me from all around the world for help to heal from trauma. And most of them are dealing with complex trauma, which means that it's not just one thing that's causing a state of nervous system overwhelm. There's multiple layers to this. It's like an onion. And more people that I'm working with are struggling with a lack of authenticity, which means that they're putting on a performance all the time. Meaning, my life's so great. Yeah, everything's great. And on the inside, they don't even know who they are. And also, they're terrified to be themselves because they think that in doing so, it's going to cause people to leave them. And so what I want to do in this video is peel this layer. Like, I'm going to give you the tools where you can start dealing with this, and I'm also going to share a little bit of my own story with this that I think is going to encourage you and show you how common that this is. And you're going to feel a sense of rest and peace whenever you are able to be your authentic self and not perceive threat around that. It is so freeing, and you'll save so much energy that you're currently investing in this performance when you're around people. Before we get into this, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jordan Hardgrave. I'm the creator of the Trauma Free Academy, which is a platform designed to educate and teach recovery about trauma, and we have a goal to reach 1 billion people. So if you would like to get help with all things related to trauma, make sure to click subscribe. Anxiety, panic attacks, depersonalization, derealization, emotional numbness, and also click like if this helps you. Comment something below. Let's get going. So let's rewind back to the beginning of whenever I started doing YouTube videos. I was very intimidated by suddenly having an audience. I basically had made a commitment whenever I was suffering with symptoms that if I could ever heal, I would spend the rest of my life helping other people heal too, but I didn't actually think that it was going to happen. In fact, I was certain that it wasn't going to happen. I almost was like looking for something to kind of give me a drive to persevere because the symptoms just felt so random. I felt so out of control. In fact, one day I remember up the fence that I was walking next to whenever I said, I will never overcome these symptoms. That was basically me just throwing in the towel. Now, I didn't give up. I kept going. And one of the things that allowed me to persevere was this belief that whenever I overcame this, I'd be able to help other people too. And so once I overcame the symptoms, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to do a video. Hopefully a few people are helped by that. And then I'm walking away because I did not want to talk about the symptoms. That's like the last thing that I wanted. I just wanted to move on with my life and never think about it again. People started getting helped. I started to get emails with all these notifications, new subscriber, new comment. People were really being encouraged. And I was being summoned to a group of people that didn't have a voice. They weren't getting the help that they needed. And so I've taught myself that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right the first time. And so I was highly committed to helping people the best that I could, but it was just very intimidating to suddenly have an audience of thousands of people. And there was just so much that I needed to learn. And anyway, so whenever I got on camera, I wasn't comfortable just being my authentic self. I felt like I wasn't good enough, as is. And it technically wasn't just in front of a camera. It was in regular life as well. I hadn't gone through the process of building up my confidence. I'd gone through a lot of rejection, and so I was overly aware of all the bad things about myself, and I kind of was even afraid to say anything good about myself or be confident in myself, especially because of my religious upbringing, which I'm still a Christian, and Yet I've had to leave behind a lot of beliefs that I grew up with, namely this belief that we're just these wretched, terrible sinners that, that are on the brink of going to hell at any moment. That really brought a lot of fear and made me very unconfident. It's like, I didn't even know if God loved me. I was like, well, apparently God's ticked off at me all the time because I can't seem to overcome this thing or this thing. Or maybe I forgot to ask forgiveness of a sin. And oh God, what if I go to sleep and I die in my sleep and I didn't ask forgiveness and then I go to hell? Like, there was that. Plus, I just was never really a popular kid growing up in school. Didn't have cool clothes and just was severely bullied and rejected. But I basically just didn't know how to say anything good over myself. And so I thought whenever I went on camera, and also in person in general, but especially on camera, that I needed to become somebody else. I needed to come off as teacher hat is what I put on. So let me explain it. So I essentially would get on camera and I would basically be like, "What's up? Good to see everybody. What's up, fearless family? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, yeah." And looking back now, I like, that wasn't me. But it was just a defense mechanism. I thought I had to come off like that because if I was real, then maybe people wouldn't like me. And I'll never forget, I actually spoke with a pastor friend of mine, and he had started watching my YouTube videos. And I started to tell him, like, yeah, I just, I'm not really that good at talking about stuff and blah, blah. He said, no. He said, actually, you are. He said, you're really good at talking about stuff. I like listening to you, and you should really speak that out over yourself. Like, be confident. And that was really the first time that anybody had ever taught me to be confident, to really speak out positive things about myself. I was only aware of all the terrible things about myself. And that really began a journey of me feeling comfortable in my own skin, realizing that, hey, there are good things about me. And that's really the first step for you to dropping the performance, is starting to identify positive things about yourself and speaking those things out every single day. If you were to come to me to work with me as a client, this is what I would have you do in terms of authenticity. Start speaking out over yourself every day, positive things about yourself. Like, you need to be aware of the bad things too, right? If you're only aware about the good things, that's narcissism, right? You definitely want to avoid that ditch. But a healthy sense of self comes from acknowledging that there are bad things about yourself, there are weaknesses, you make mistakes, but then also recognizing that there are a lot of great things about yourself and being confident in those things. That's where a healthy sense of self comes from. But typically, people swing the pendulum to one extreme or the other. One extreme end of the spectrum is narcissism. You think that you're God's gift to earth, you have no issues whatsoever, and that's obviously very dysfunctional. But then you swing the pendulum to the other side of the screen, I guess. And that's, I'm terrible. There's nothing good about me. Nobody likes me because I have nothing good about myself. And you're just only aware of all the bad things about yourself. So we need to swing the pendulum down to the middle. That's usually what you have to do with most things, is you have to find a balanced perspective and avoid the two extremes. You've got good things about yourself, and you need to be confident in that, but you've also got weaknesses, you make mistakes, and you're human, and you also need to be aware of that and learn how to deal with that without it causing you to crumble mentally and emotionally. So I started to do this, and I want you to start doing this as well. Start with 3 positive things about yourself. Write it down and start to speak that out every single day. When I have a client come to me, I'll be like, I've noticed that you're very kind. You're very compassionate. You're very funny. You're very creative. You're this, and this. And they're like, you can tell it's sometimes one of the first times anybody said anything like that over them. It doesn't take much for you to start to build that internal confidence. But the second step is you have to start to become aware when you're going into performance mode, meaning whenever you're starting to say and do things that are not you. And just drop the performance. Here's the great thing about this. For you to be you is natural. It's not like you have to do something to be you. You just have to stop doing the things that are not you. Once you drop the performance, you stop smiling when you don't want to smile. You stop pretending that you like something when you don't like it. You stop pretending that you don't like something when you really do like it. And you just start to allow yourself to be you. It's very natural, right? And it's not something that is difficult. What's difficult is dropping the performance. That's where you're going to have a lot of challenge, because you're going to find yourself going into performance mode all the time. But once you can just drop the performance, it's like slipping into a perfectly fit glove. It's going to be very natural. And once you stop wasting all this energy in performance mode, you're going to be able to experience a new peace and a new rest. I'm not saying that that's the cure-all. This is literally just one layer of the onion as far as healing from trauma, which is a state of nervous system overwhelm. But I want you to begin this journey. I want you to begin this journey of building yourself up, speaking out the good things about yourself. And I also want you to recognize when you're going into performance mode, drop the performance and just allow yourself to be you. And here's what you're going to find. All the fears that you thought were going to happen are not going to happen. In fact, people will respect you more. You'll have more in-depth relationships, because now that voice in your head that's, oh God, if they really knew the real me, they wouldn't like me, that's going to be gone, because you're being your authentic self and they still like you. In fact, it's going to strengthen your relationships because now they know the real you instead of you in performance mode. Will there be some people that reject you and leave you because you're your authentic self? You better believe it. But it's not going to be very many people. And if they do leave, good. That is a positive thing, because if they reject you and leave you for being you, that is not somebody that you wanted to be connected to anyway. So see it as a positive. Like, the worst case scenario is actually the best case scenario, because you've now identified somebody that you didn't need to be investing your time in anyway. And the benefits are that you'll know that the people that love you and are connected to you are really there for you. And you're going to be able to drop the performance and not stress out so much and become fatigued because of all the energy that it wastes. Okay, that is it. I hope that this helped you. Make sure to subscribe, click like, comment, and share this video if it helped you. I will talk to you very soon, my friend.